Plastic bag mats for charity, an Upcycle crochet project.
Hi, we're Sulphur staff from the Calcasieu Parish Library. My name is Jasmine.
I'm Elaine.
And I'm Liz. Today we're going to show you how to make plastic bag sleeping mats for charity.
Supplies: scissors, a ruler, 400 plastic bags, and optional, a Q-sized hook, which is 15 millimeters or more.
Making the plarn of plastic ball yarn. Off camera, we flatten our plastic bags and fold each bag in half or thirds to make it easier for cutting. We keep the plastic bags folded long ways. Then you take your ruler, or if you want to eye the measurements, you can. Place it in the center of the folded plastic bag and begin to measure 3 inches apart. You should end up with 3 to 4 loops per bag. Discard any extra pieces. Now we're going to knot our cut loops together. Unfold and open each cut piece fully. Take your first loop into your hand. Now take the second loop. Connect the 2 bags together by using a square knot. Pull slowly so as not to stretch out the plastic bag. Do not pull completely tight until you are sure the loops for each section of your loop are even. This will make crocheting much easier. Continue this until all bags are connected. You can tighten the knots as you go along once you are finished. Now you're going to take your yarn, plarn of yarn, and make your plarn of ball from your plastic bags.
Okay, so here we have a ball of plarn. You're going to find the end of the ball and put the ball to the side. In the end, you're going to tie a loop. It's going to be a slip knot so that you can tighten and loosen as you need to, and then you're going to put your crochet hook through the loop. Once you put your crochet hook through the loop, you're going to tighten it just a little bit around the crochet hook. Make sure you have room to pull the next loop through, and put your hands in position to begin crocheting. Okay, so now that you're ready, you're gonna yarn over your hook and pull it through the loop, and then you've got 1 chain, and you're gonna go again, and now you've got 2 chains. And you're gonna keep going and going and going until you have a 3-foot chain. So now we're to the end, and as you can see here, we have a very long chain. So you're going to find this second chain from the hook. So it's not going to be this first one, it's going to be that second one. And you're going to put your hook through the top loop. You're going to put your hook through there. And this is going to be a single crochet. You're going to yarn over and pull it through, so now you have 2 loops on your hook. And then you're going to yarn over again and pull that through both loops, and that's 1 single crochet. And so now you're going to do it again in the next stitch. And put your hook through and pull so that you have 2 loops, and then you're going to yarn over and pull it through both loops, and now you have 2 single crochets. And you're going to do it again until you reach the end of your chain. So you're just going to repeat this all the way down, going into each stitch. And the chain combined with this first row of single crochet is going to be called your foundation stitch. This is what's going to set you up to make your whole mat. Okay, so now you've reached the end of your first row of single crochet stitches. And what you're going to do here is you are going to chain one and turn. So as you can see, this is the end of the first row. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through, and that is the chain. And then you're going to turn your work so that it's facing the other way, and you're going to go through like the V situation that you see on the top. You're going to go under both of those lines and yarn over and pull it through so that you have 2 loops on your crochet hook. And then you're going to yarn over and pull it through both of those loops to make a single crochet. You're going to do this all the way to the end again, and then once you get to the end, you are going to chain one and turn and repeat. So the finished product of your mat should be between 30 and 36 inches wide and about 72 inches long. This is about the same size as a standard yoga mat, and that's the size that we're going for with our mats. Okay, and this is what it should look like with your chain, your first single crochet or your foundation stitch, and then the second row of single crochet. And as you can see, I'm going to chain one and turn my work, and then I will start another row of single crochet. And again, you're just going to do this over and over until your mat is 72 inches long.
So the finger method is very similar to the hook, except, of course, you're going to use your thumb and your forefinger as your hook, in place of your hook. So start off, of course, by doing your slip knot. Off to the side, Liz was helping me. She was directing me as needed. So if you see me pause a little bit, it's because she was instructing me as I went along. This was my first time crocheting anything, and the finger method was kind of fun, but kind of messy. Use gloves if you need to. So begin after your slip knot and do your single stitches. This is your single stitch crochet chain. And just like Liz said, this will be 3 foot. So take your ruler as much as you need to throughout this to make sure that it measures up to that. Now, after I finished my single stitch chain, I was ready to begin the foundation chain. So, with Liz's assistance, I looked for the first appropriate stitch by following the V's. I grabbed my loop and double looped on my fingers and then pulled the 3rd loop through. I kept continuing on and on until they kind of looked a little wonky, but it is finger crocheting after all. It's kind of supposed to. Don't worry about it. Everything will even out as you go. If you need to restart occasionally, pull out some stitches, that's totally normal. At a few different points, you're going to need to connect 2 plarn balls together. So that means when you come to the end of one plarn ball, you'll gather the new ball by getting the first loop, and I looped the first loop through the last piece 2 or 3 times. find what works for you. You may be able to do it within 1 loop around, but maybe 2 is a little bit easier. 3 was a little bit trickier because it was a little bit harder to maneuver it into a neat stretched piece, but in the end it all worked seamlessly. And there was a piece left over for my first try, but that can be easily woven into the mat, so don't worry about stuff like that. Now for the final part, you'll start at the single crochet chain that you started with and work your way through there. As you see, I'm taking each loop on my finger and looping through a new chain of single crochets. So it's a little bit easier when you first start that first row, but as you'll notice soon, after this first row, you will want to single stitch through a double crochet. But it's single stitch crocheting, so it's a little bit quicker to get through the whole mat that way. We focused on doing only 1 border round, but if you're comfortable doing 2, please do so. It makes the mat more durable and everything just looks so much better when it's bordered around. Now on the end, I just took some scissors, cut it off, and just did a simple knot around. Tighten as much as possible and then kept cutting until you couldn't really see anything at the end. I kind of woven it through as a last step. While we were busy working on our mats, of course, so was Miss Elaine.
Okay, so now we are going to begin adding the border to the mat. The border is just going to make the mat look a little more finished and even it out. So what you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 and turn, but instead of flipping the mat over, you're just going to turn it to the long side, and you're going to start single crocheting into the side of your mat. So as you can see, I'm putting my hook through one of the loops. It's going to be a little difficult to see which loop you want to go through. It's going to be the very top one. You kind of want to maybe just pull at your mat a little bit until you can see that top hole with just like the one line of yarn, and just start single crocheting all along the long side of your mat. And when you get to the end, in the final loop of the side, you're gonna put 3 single crochets into that one hole so that you kind of have like a turn happening. Okay, so now we are going to crochet the corner of the border. When you get to the end of your mat, you're gonna put 3 single crochets into the final loop of that edge to make a nice squared off corner of the border. And then when you're done with that, you're gonna go along the short side until you get to the end, and then you're gonna repeat. Okay, so I've gotten to the end. I'm going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then 3 single crochets into the same loop, and then we're just going to continue single crocheting our border.
So these are the finished products. First is mine, the finger crochet. Then there's Liz's with her cue-sized hook. And lastly would be Miss Elaine's, and there you can see her in the picture above. So now we're packed and ready to go to Care Help's food pantry in Sulphur on 112 East Thomas Street. Miss Jennifer and Miss Bobby were there to greet us They were really amazed and had a lot of questions about how we finished this. They're excited to see if more are to come. By the way, they do take donations for those less fortunate in the area. So hop onto their website to see exactly what's needed.
I hope you have enjoyed this community project and you have learned how to crochet and make a mat for charity.
Thanks for watching. Check our Facebook or YouTube for all of our videos.